My garbage person, as it semi-frequently is Marjorie Greene. I think for good cause. Take a look at this.
Today I introduced a censure resolution against Ilhan Omar. And the reason why I did that, and I'll just say this, censure is not going far enough. If it were up to me, we would expel Ilhan Omar and deport her out of the United States. Her comments are outrageous. She's acting as a foreign agent within our very government.
None of that is true, you'll be surprised to find out. Marjorie Greene was lied to by people that don't care about the truth. What they care about is destroying notable Democrats, particularly women of color. And she either isn't intelligent enough to tell that she's been lied to, or it comports with her racist viewpoint and the way that she views the world, and so she's not gonna question it. So she wants to censure or perhaps expel or maybe even deport a US citizen in Ilhan Omar because she read a mistranslation of something Ilhan Omar said. So here's the actual truth of first what it doesn't say and then what it in truth does say.
The translation on the clip claimed that she said this: the US government will only do what Somalians in the US tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Now, CNN translated her speech. Here's what she actually said. Quote, the United States government would do what we tell them to do. We need to have confidence as Somali people. We live in this country. This is the country that we pay taxes in. This is the country where a girl was born from you all who is sitting in Congress.
So let's break this down. Marjorie Greene, as so many people do, read something on the internet. When she read it, it made her feel good because it told her that a person she hates is hateable. She had no interest or desire or ability to question it, and she just acted on it. So a thing that sounded good to her on the internet, this is not just like she retweeted it, she thumbs upped it, she posted a tweet about it. She had like an official measure to censure Ilhan Omar because she'd been mistranslated. And by the way, we already knew when she did it that it had been mistranslated. So look, if you want to believe that she knows that she's lying, there's good cause to believe that. But if you want to believe that she's just ignorant, she's definitely provided a lot of good cause for that. In the meantime, you have Ilhan Omar, who didn't say that, who's been a citizen for literally decades, being once again smeared by this ignorant racist. And I will remind you, this is the second time that Greene has tried to censure specifically Muslim members of Congress in just the last few months. Rashida Tlaib, she tried to censure for inciting an insurrection by speaking at a pro-Palestinian protest. She has to do that, of course, Marjorie Greene, because she supported the other insurrection and she wants to sort of like equalize things across the Democratic Party. But anyway, we'll get to more, including Omar's response. But Brett, what do you think?
She's so useless. Like, it is. There's this not so new phenomenon where basically a lot of content on the internet is indistinguishable from pornography because it's just like this weird fantasy that gets your blood up, so to speak. This is one of them. Like there's a fantasy translation, and the term I've thrown around is scornography. It's just like it allows you to masturbate over someone being bad, even though the thing is just like so much pornography, a wild misrepresentation of the actual acts people carry out in their real life. In this case, it was like a fake version of what she said, and she took it to Congress. And it just reveals she does not care about truth. She does not care about America. Saying you're gonna deport Ilhan Omar, who's a naturalized citizen, is against the law and anti-American, and she should be ashamed of herself, but she doesn't have any shame.
100%, no shame whatsoever. Yeah, look, it's that. It's the particular sort of modern political version of just this fits with what I want to believe to be true, so I'm going to accept it. This doesn't fit with what I'm going to believe to be true, so I'm going to ignore it. There is an alternative. It's called critical thought, or actually caring about the truth or falsity of a thing, but they don't have it. That requires a more of a commitment to, having your worldview be in touch with reality or caring about truth. That's not a thing that they have. She's not a curious person. She's not an intelligent person. She's driven by a toxic brew of different biases, and Ilhan Omar represents multiple of them. So I will only I'll respond with Ilhan Omar's take on this, saying it's not only slanted the mistranslation, but completely off. But I wouldn't expect more from these propagandists. I pray for them and their sanity. No nation state can survive if its states start to get involved in land lease negotiations with other countries. She's getting into sort of what she'd been talking about in the speech that was mistranslated, which is about Somalia. But I'm just gonna remind you of one thing. We're all worried about deep fakes, about the fact that almost inevitably in the next few months, there's gonna be a high profile video of Ilhan Omar or Marjorie Taylor, or not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or whatever. And it's going to have them saying something insane. And the right is going to run with it. And it doesn't matter if it's even remotely plausible. They will just take it and run with it. But we technically don't even need that in some cases. We don't need advanced technology. All it needs to be done is it needs to be in a different language. It's not in English. So we're just gonna lie. We can put literally any text we want. Not 1 in a million right-wingers are going to check. They're just gonna run with it. She's not going to apologize. And everybody who saw her posts or saw a million other posts attacking her, because it was all over Twitter, they will believe it for the rest of their lives. The people who made it know that they are lying. They don't care. And the people receiving the lie care perhaps even less. And how can a society last? How can it stand if more and more of its population goes about their day, approaches the news in this fashion? I don't know what percentage it is, but it's way too high and it's way too vocal and it's way too already in possession of political power when you have people like Marjorie Greene in office. Any final thought, Brett, before we get to the community?
They're doing it not just with this, they're doing it with everything. It's most of their actions, whether it's Hunter's laptop or voter fraud. It's just lies they told you.
It's just lies, yeah. And they don't care because truth is not the end goal. Political power, a maintenance of the status quo, a maintenance of a hierarchy that automatically puts you on top due to inherent demographic variables, that's the actual goal. Now, those are our garbage people. 56,000, a lot this week, voted for the community garbage person of the week. Thank you to everybody who took time out to vote. If you're a fan of clicking on things, have you considered the like button, by the way? But anyway, you voted, and this week was not even close. Here's your top 5. Coming in number 5 with 2% of the vote, you have Megyn Kelly for her disgusting attack on Aaron Moriarty. Tied at number 4 with 2% of the vote for Sean Hannity for his hypocrisy and stock reports of Biden and Trump. That was a fun story, but not a lot of people apparently were won over by it. Number 3 with 3% of the vote, you have Troy Nels for calling Cori Bush loud and her husband a thug. Your runner-up with 13% of the vote is the right-wing media for their lunatic conspiracies on Taylor Swift. I thought that might win, but it's not even close. Your community garbage person or people of the week with 80% of the vote, GOP politicians for blocking the immigration bill to appease Trump. And honestly, I love that that's the one that won. It is insane. It's garbage. Thank you to everybody who voted. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.